Okay, we're going to move into a section of the day now called Hidden Values, Data Discovery and Recommendation, obviously building a little bit on what Lucas just said. So, how can algorithms unlock unforeseen value in archives and data sets? What are the value logics that drive data-driven experiences? What are the current problems of recommendation and discovery? In this sort of section, we're going to assess the value of data and ask how the value from existing data sets can be realised, and can we develop smarter ways to find things moving in a world of curated and nuanced search and discovery. So we're going to have a couple of talks and then we're going to have a panel. So for the first talk, I think I'm correct in saying if I move to the next slide, it's going to be Brendan's name, is that right? Yes, we're switching all the slides this morning. So for the first talk today, we're going to have Brendan Miles. He's one of the List's directors responsible for the ongoing development of the UK's most comprehensive arts and culture publisher. He's previously worked in the arts, music and publishing industry and has led commercial operations at scotsman.com. Please join me in giving Brendan a huge round of applause.
So as the themes of this conference today are the links between artificial intelligence and creativity, I thought I'd riff on this a little bit. And I came up with the title of Cultural Intelligence for this talk. It actually fits really rather well for what I'm going to talk to you about. Now, the list started off in 1985 as Scotland's answer to Time Out. Our ethos was to bring arts and culture to the widest number of people possible. And we started off by doing that with a printed magazine for Edinburgh and Glasgow, where we covered theatre, dance, music, suggested where people could go and have a good time. Amazingly, we still actually publish that magazine today, but our world has changed unimaginably. We used to collect live events listings by hand from printed brochures. And at the time, live events data was messy, it was fragmented, it had to be collected from a huge different range of providers using entirely different systems, none of which talked to each other. Fast forward 35 years, and live events data is still messy, it's still fragmented, still has to be collected from a huge different range of providers, none of which talk to each other. But the way in which we collect those listings has changed unimaginably. These days, we use artificial intelligence and semantic web processes to collect around 45,000 different live events, 600,000 different performances live at any one time across the length and breadth of the UK. It's the largest, most comprehensive, most accurate, and most far-reaching data set of UK live events data that exists anywhere. Now, in the past, we used to just publish that on our website and in our magazine, obviously. But in the future, we'll publish it everywhere. And we'll use that data in ways that we never even conceived of even a couple of years ago. Above here are 4 images which are related to our very near future. So we've got a hotel, a doctor, a bus, and a police car. Now, none of this future actually would have been possible without the intervention of one man and one man alone. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ed Sheeran. So I would love to say we were smart enough to work out the future of our company. Actually, it was pretty much all down to Ed. You see, we'd always thought of our listings as content. We provided them to media publications like Trinity Mirror, who published them on their platforms. We provided them to destination marketing organisations like Visit Scotland or Visit Southampton, showing the rich cultural breadth that they had, encouraging people to go and visit that city or that town. But Ed made us realise that actually what we thought of as content was data. You see, I was chatting to the CTO of a medium-sized hotel firm, and he was complaining about Ed Sheeran, because Ed Sheeran had sold out one of his hotels in 20 minutes flat. Long before his yield management software, based on historic prices and competitors' prices and what's the weather going to be like, had had a chance to respond. So they sold all of those rooms at £70 a pop in 20 minutes, when he could have normally yield managed them up to £250 or £300. Ed cost him £9,500 in those 20 minutes. But he wasn't finished there. He had further insult to add to his original injury. He rolled on a couple of dates at the Cardiff Millennium Stadium, costing him another £9,500 and another £9,500, making for a very, very, very expensive week. And that's when it kind of crystallized to us. Our listings were content, but they were also data. They were data specifically which was business intelligence around demand. So now that Ed's explained everything to us, I'm going to go back to those 4 images. We're working on a project with Edinburgh University's Data-Driven Innovation Programme at this moment in time, along with ScotRail, Lothian Buses, LNER, a host of other people. We're aiming to build predictive models to understand demand for transport in and around the Edinburgh Festival, an event which happens every single year, which is larger than the World Cup. It causes traffic chaos in Edinburgh. Our data will help those transport companies provide more efficient services. They'll make more money, but more importantly, they'll be able to provide much better services to locals, to tourists, and residents. We're working with Deloitte at the moment on services for services, for blue light services. Specifically, we're looking at everything from running through and understanding exactly where they should place police forces on a Friday or Saturday night based on the number of people that are actually out and about in any particular area in any given time, right the way through to organizing exactly where the emergency services network, the new broadcast network that they're all going to be involved in, should be rolled out, what region, what time, what's going to be the demand. I've already mentioned yield management, but we'll also integrate with hotel CRM systems. We'll send people information about fantastic events that they can attend when they're actually at the hotel, but importantly as well, inspiring people to make new journeys to new cities, to new places, and hopefully stay at that hotel. This is perhaps the one I'm most excited by, though, social prescribing. You see, the NHS is creaking at the moment. We all know that. It's massively overworked, massively overfunded. GP surgeries are overwhelmed. And there's a move towards prevention rather than cure, helping people to make sure they don't get ill in the first place, because if you've reached a doctor, basically, it's already gone too far. Now, this is where culture is an incredible force for good. It increases the sense of community. It reduces social isolation. It reduces social exclusion, massive factors in mental health. Imagine becoming a mother and being able to know exactly the 15 different places you could go and take your child, all the different things you could do as soon as that happens. Reaching the age of 60 and not just receiving a bus pass, but receiving information about local community groups, local walking groups, local art groups, keeping your mind and your body healthy. And the best thing about all of these things is so much of what we're doing fits with our original ethos of bringing arts and culture to the widest number of people possible. So I genuinely have no idea what the future is going to be, but we envision a future where live events data is as ubiquitous as the weather data is now, where we've helped encourage more people than ever before to experience arts and culture, and where we're happier and healthier as a society as a result of it. Hopefully where we've combined culture and intelligence for the benefit of all. Thank you.